Alright, hi everyone. Like she said, I'm Dominick from Hesper Helpers. I'm from Winneshiek County. And I'd like to start my presentation off with a question. Have you ever been, let's say, walking down the street or through your neighborhood or even to school or something, and there's this dog on a leash who's just barking and barking and barking at you, and you get this kind of sense of fear, just small, not much, you know, like, I don't want to go near this dog. Well, me, it's much more than that. I go to the other side of the street, I kind of try to ignore it, I walk really fast, you know, I'm all nervous and stuff. But before this all happened, I was just a normal kid. I saw dogs and I thought, oh, look at the cute little puppy, and if the dog barked at me, it was just, you know, dumb dog, get out of here, and stuff like that. But then, one night, I was actually staying at my grandmother's house, and I went to a football game at my hometown, Sumner. And after the football game, it was probably 10:30, quarter to 11, I was a stupid teenager and decided, hey, I'll just walk home, I don't need a ride. So on my way to my grandmother's house, I decided, take a shortcut, I'm lazy. Me and my buddy decided to go through a dark alleyway. And when we're going through this dark alleyway, we're talking about nonsense and stuff, and all of a sudden I hear bark, 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 you know, it's just an angry dog, and I look over at my buddy to see if he heard it too, and he's gone. I don't know what happened, and all of a sudden this pit bull comes running straight at me, and I just froze. I didn't know what to do. I didn't run, I didn't jump, I didn't scream, I did nothing. I froze, and what it did was it bit my leg. It's an ankle biter, some would say. It bit my leg and it locked its jaws. I could not get it off. I was shaking it, and all this time I couldn't yell, I couldn't do anything. The owners were trying to yell at the dog, but it wouldn't work. I got it off the first time. I eventually shook it off, and it took off a couple parts of my leg actually. I have a big hole in the back of my leg because of it. It took off parts of my leg. At this point, the pain was so excruciating, I started screaming. I was like, help, 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 can somebody come help me, please? My buddy, at that point, starts yelling, Dominick, I'm up here, I'm on the fence. And there's a fence probably not even 20 feet away from me, and I couldn't see him this whole time yelling at me. I start running for the fence, and the dog comes back and it bites me again, right in the same spot, except for a little bit lower on my leg. I couldn't stand it. I kicked the dog. I know I shouldn't have, but I felt kind of bad about it. I was like, oh my gosh, I just kicked this dog. But I kicked the dog, and I just mad dash sprint. I had so much adrenaline, I didn't even feel my leg at that point. I mad dash sprint on this fence. I jump on, and I was afraid that the dog was going to go around and try to attack us again. And then after I'm not even on this fence for 5 seconds, and a car comes up, pulls up, and it's like, guys, hurry up, get in the car. And you know, stranger danger, I didn't care at this point. I'm like, just take me to my grandma's. And she's like, what? I'm taking you to the hospital. I'm like, no, just take me to my grandma's, I need to see my mom. At that point, I felt like such a little mama's boy, but I'm like, just take me, please. So my grandma's just right down the street, takes me. I limp up onto the porch, you know, everything's going on. My mom walks out onto the porch, she takes one look at my leg and not says, oh, my son. She turns around and almost pukes. She's like, oh my God, I can't even look at you. And I'm standing out there for 2 minutes, and then my mom and my stepdad come up and like, okay, we're gonna go to the hospital. I jump in the car, we get to the hospital, and at this point my mom is like screaming at me, let's go, we gotta hurry, we gotta hurry, we gotta hurry. I'm like, seriously, Mom, I'm trying to walk here. And my leg is bleeding, my shoe is full of blood, and it's just disgusting, let's say. Most people would be like, but I didn't even look at my leg half the time. We get there, they had to clean it up and stuff. The whole time I was just full of pain, and I didn't really get pain medication either. They're just like, you can do it, just keep breathing. I'm like, I'm breathing here. So that night was an interesting night, I should say. After the attack, I was out for football at the time. So after the attack, I wanted to still play football. But even with my leg wrapped up in like 2-inch thick gauze, I couldn't play. Heck, I didn't even want to be a manager at the point. I'm like, oh, this is kind of depressing. So I couldn't go out for football. I didn't have crutches or anything, so I just slipped around the halls. I couldn't go out for wrestling. I was a pretty active person in sports before, but I had to, every night I had to, twice a day I had to wrap it, rewrap it. I had to put lotion stuff on it that I had to put on it. I had to take oral medication once for like a month, but that was it. I had this for about 2 months, this whole limping and stuff. But then it eventually pretty much just scarred. No infection, luckily. No rabies or anything. The dog had to be put down. We actually had to go to a council meeting because the people didn't want their dog. They wanted the dog back, but they passed a law in Sumner that you can't have vicious dogs in city limits no more. So that happened, and sadly the dog had to be put down. I mean, I felt kind of bad about it, but anyway, so here I am today. Scars, hole in the back of my leg, but I can walk normal. I'm out for football right now, freshman team. I'm going to be out for wrestling, possibly track. The only thing that's different about me now is when I see that dog across the street, I don't want to go down that street. I will go the long way around. I will not be that lazy teenager anymore. I will not. I don't go down alleys anymore, especially at night. I'm not afraid of dogs per se. I'm afraid of mean dogs. I have a fear of dogs that bark. Even if it's a little chihuahua, I will freak out. Like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm just gonna wait outside for you. But that is my story. Any questions? All right, thank you.